Hello and welcome to another episode of Fully Charged. This week I'm looking at a hybrid car. It is the Toyota RAV4 hybrid. I'm a sucker for this stuff. It's really nice to drive, really comfortable, really easy, all those things. I won't go on about that. Lots of storage space, lots of room in the back, very comfortable seats. I've sat in the back, sat in the front, very comfortable. Loads of boot space, which you will see in a moment, because I've been asked lots of times to show the boot space. Very easy to drive. Actually, no, before I start, I'm just going to reset my MPG so I can check my MPG, because obviously, if you're going to get a hybrid car, that sort of thing is actually quite important. So at the moment, this is running on just the electricity and the batteries, which are about half full. I'll do my first disappointment with this car, which is that it's not a plug-in hybrid. It is very much like the original Prius, same very similar running system, except it's four-wheel drive, which is quite interesting, but not all the time. It's constantly switching, so it depends. I'm still trying to understand the intricacies of the four-wheel drive system. But the basics are really solidly built. You know, it's a Toyota, it's a really well-built car, it's really smooth and quiet, it goes along very nicely. It feels very solid and stable. Very high sitting position, you feel high up above the road in your classic SUV style, which, as regular viewers will know, the SUV is not one of my favourite vehicles. But if you're going to get one, then clearly something that isn't just a massive heavy SUV with a massive diesel or petrol engine is a big step up. And, you know, certainly this vehicle, is making a very big, bold attempt to be slightly more fuel efficient. If it was a plug-in Toyota hybrid RAV4, it would be I just think it would be much better. One of the things we do know now, which was a mystery when the Prius first came out, is how long the battery would last for. And there's now hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of Prius taxis in particular that have done 500,000 miles on their original battery, and the battery's still fine. The car's falling to bits, the battery's absolutely fine. So it's a nickel metal hydride battery, which can take a charge and deliver a charge constantly. It doesn't mind being charged and discharged. It's not a big battery, and I would think you could probably only drive at most a couple of miles on pure electric on a flat road if it was full. So it doesn't do that. What it does is it's constantly switching, which is what the hybrid system does, constantly switching between electric and petrol. It's electric now because I'm going down a hill. And as I can see on the energy monitor there, it is charging the battery very rapidly. Now, a full electric car, you wouldn't notice that much charge going into it because the battery's so much bigger. And you'd have to be, going down a hill for about a year to charge it. I've always wanted Toyota to make the jump to doing full electrics or plug-in hybrids, and they've tried it with the Prius, and there is a new Prius coming out, I believe, which has a much larger battery, a plug-in version, which I'm looking forward to having a go in, because I think they're amazing cars. Everyone, I think this is why I'm a little bit cynical about the automotive press, because they were universally slamming it when it first came out and going on and on about how awful it was and no one will ever buy them. They've sold nearly 9 million Priuses now around the world. It's been a phenomenal success. And it's been a success because people, once they drive them, understand they just use less petrol than a standard car. They do. I've often got well over 75, 80 miles to the gallon in a standard Prius. Plug-in Prius, you can get over 100 miles to the gallon. And this should be a plug-in, but it isn't, and Toyota will have their reasons as to why it isn't. So 2.5 litre petrol engine and an electric motor that's tied to that, and that's tied to the CVT, which is Toyota's kind of transmission system. So it's an electric transmission system. And if I was a proper automotive journalist, or even intelligent, or even understood science, someone told me today that I'm just an actor and I don't understand science. That was on the Twitters. Thank you very much for that. Because all the actors I know would scream at that, going, "He's not an actor. He's rubbish." So I really haven't got a role in society. I'm not an actor, and I'm not a scientist. I'm some sort of hybrid, which is why I quite like hybrids. But it is a four-wheel drive at the moment. I can tell by this energy monitor that it's only driving the front two wheels, but when you decelerate, which I'll try and do now and show you, so if I accelerate a bit, And when I decelerate, it's getting energy back from the rear wheels that's feeding into the batteries. The batteries are now nearly full, which is because we just come down a big hill, and at the moment I'm doing 91 mpg. I could lie to you about how many miles to the gallon it does, and I could just say, oh look, you can see here it says, oh, and now it says 95.9, but I've just come down an enormous hill and gone down a very flat, straight road. So that isn't a realistic measurement of the mpg. It will do, over a long drive I did a couple of days ago, I was getting about 53 mpg, and then according to the one of the report on here, and I don't know what that's saying now, yeah, on one trip the best I got was 65.4 mpg, and that was on a kind of that would be about a 100-mile journey, somewhere around 100 miles. And now I've got just under half a tank, and I've done a lot of miles. I haven't kept, of course, like a proper rubbish actor that isn't a scientist, I haven't kept a track of it, but I'd say 300-ish miles on sort of half a tank. So I think it does about 600 miles on a tank if you drive it carefully. So all of this, of course, is always dependent on how you drive it. If you thrash it and accelerate hard and decelerate hard, then you're not going to get anything like that. You know, you'll use much more petrol. I just want to point out the reason I'm going very slowly now is because I'm following a lot of other traffic that's going very slowly, because we're going past a school where the speed limit is reduced to 30 miles an hour at this time of the day when the children are about to come out, which I think is extremely sensible. And I'm driving past their school, and no particulates or poisonous gases or toxic fumes are coming out of the back of this vehicle because I'm driving it on pure electric mode. And I'm doing 41 miles an hour now, so it can run on electric mode at any speed. It doesn't have to be going slow to do it. And it just depends on the driving conditions. So if you're going slightly downhill, it will do 40 miles. It'll do pure electric, which is really good. I think that's excellent. So yeah, so you can get 64 miles a gallon. I think that was me being a sort of a hypermiling nerd. I think normally it would be in the mid 50s, which for a large 2-ton SUV I think is, you know, impressive. It's not as good as the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. When I did a very long trip in that, which was a lot of motorways, but I was rapid charging it whenever I stopped for a wee, I got over 90 miles to the gallon in that, which I thought was incredible, because that's actually a bigger car than this. But yeah, I mean, my issue with Toyota is, because I think they're an amazing company, and I think what they did with the Prius was genuinely revolutionary. It really threw down the gauntlet. In many ways, it opened the door for electric vehicles. And what is odd is that Toyota haven't gone through that door. There is a version of this car in America that I've been trying to do a test drive of for years, but it's only in America, it's only in California. The electric motor is the same motor that's in the Tesla Model S. The batteries are the same as are in the Tesla Model S, slightly smaller battery pack. Apparently it goes like stink, which isn't surprising, and it's purely electric. Well, they made a few hundred of those that they leased in California because it was part of the Californian Air Resources Board mandate that they had to make some electric cars, and it's kind of like, oh, what a shame. You know, they haven't done it, and I think this is the pickle. I think all the major motoring manufacturers are in a pickle, because clearly all the signs are pointing towards 100% electric cars that have around 200 miles range, and that's what people want. I would love people who have no intention of ever getting an electric car to at least get one of these, because it's a huge improvement from a standard petrol or a diesel, massive improvement on a diesel. The thing is, when I first got in it, I was going, oh, I don't really like it. It's just another one of those cars like that. And I'll tell you, it's really grown on me. I've really enjoyed driving it. And, you know, because it has got a lot of buttons and knobs and things. And I was going, oh, it's got too many knobs. I just want a screen that does everything. Actually, this is the heater, and you turn it up by turning a knob, and it's so, I don't have to look. I can do it like that. It's fantastic. It's really easy to get. It's a lot easier to adjust the temperature in this car than it is in the Model S. Just having one knob. I know they don't want knobs. Can't have a button. Sometimes a button or a knob, you want to just grab hold of a knob. I'm still getting 85 miles to the gallon. I've never done this before. When we're driving along an ordinary flat road now, we're going quite slow because there's a truck in front with, oh, it's got horses in it. Of course. That's why people drive slowly around here, because of horses, which is lovely. It makes the car, everyone's driving along here very fuel efficiently. So the Prius is a sub 100 grams of CO2 per kilometre vehicle. That's about 92 or something, and I think the plug-in hybrid is in the 80s. This one is 112 grams of CO2 per kilometre, which is much more. But it's not that much more, and it's much less than, say, a Porsche Cayenne or one of those big fat BMWs with massive tyres, X, whatever, the X ones. Those are in the kind of 300, 400, 500 grams of CO2 per kilometre. I know I'll get loads of comments going, my BMW X5 doesn't do that many, yeah, whatever. Because, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a scientist, I'm just an actor. So you should always take anything I say with a pinch of salt, but I think you can trust my gut reaction to a vehicle like this, which initially I was not impressed with. I was going, oh, why did I say I'd review this car? It's basically a petrol car with a little electric motor strapped to it. It's not. It's more subtle than that. It's more sophisticated than that. Toyota have made that hybrid synergy drive is so smooth. How you can stop and start a petrol engine when I grew up with petrol engines that you had to go that's how you started a petrol engine. This one goes on, off, on, off. You can't tell. There's no juddering. It's only when you there, so you can hear it then. That's the only time I know that there is a petrol engine, if I absolutely floor it. So now we're going onto a motorway. I'm going to give it a little bit of welly to get it going. No, it accelerates, but not terribly fast. I'll get past this truck. And you can really hear the engine. So it's a 2.5 litre engine. It's quite a big engine. So I'm still managing 68.9, so 69 mpg so far on 25 miles. So, it's not bad for a car this size. It's a big car. It's not a small car. That when you sit up this high in a car, I understand why people like SUVs. It's not, I don't want to criticise the people who own them. It's just a kind of extravagant way to move one person around. In the same way as the Tesla, my big criticism of the Tesla Model S is just too big. I don't need a car that big. So that's it. I've just driven 40 miles and I've got 56.5 miles to the gallon. That's what I've done. And I'm just going to now check again my best average. I don't know if I've beaten that today. I don't think I probably have. Oh no, but I'm pretty close. Yeah, so my best average was 65.4. Today I've done 56.5. So there we go. That's it. Anyway, all the usual things. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be wonderful. Lots of people have subscribed recently. It's been amazing. Huge jump in subscription numbers. If you want to support the series on Patreon, that would be even more marvellous. It's absolutely amazing that we're getting that much support from people. I really, really appreciate it. It makes it possible to make this show better and better. It doesn't make me better and better, but it makes the show better and better. And finally, if you have been, thank you for watching.